Alright gentlemen, with this one right here, we are on the heavy, and we are going to be talking about our definitive build 7.0 for the heavy bolter here. Extremely powerful gun. Overall, I probably rank it third for the heavy, which just feels insane to say because I still rank it above every other weapon in the entire game. So, you know, the heavy has some extremely powerful ranged weapons. This one right here gives you, immense amounts of contested health. You can really sit in there and tank most enemies. If your gun does not overheat, anything is going to have a really hard time killing you. So we're going to get into our class perks here. We're going to go over our prestige perks, the heavy bolter itself, and we will also talk about just some variations you can kind of take with your class build and your prestige perks, and as well as our secondary. So let's get straight into our prestige perks first. So when it's coming to our prestige perks here, we are going to be taking Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage. You want Duelist for your perfect parry and block windows to be increased. Auxiliary Reload for killing an extremist enemy. As long as you execute them, you will get one ammo back, or one magazine of ammo back. And Indomitable Spirit for performing gun strikes. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits. So with these ones right here, if you were going to drop anything, like maybe you wanted to go with the melee build, I would probably drop 3 and 4 here, and then throw on my my radius and my damage for my melee. So them are the only really changes that I would recommend when it comes to prestige perks. And when we're going over to our core here, we are going to want restoration because we are constantly killing 7 enemies in rapid succession with this weapon. So it's just going to help you keep your armor up. And then next up, we have Strategic Stand. When you are in heavy stance, you will gain the 15% more contested health, and more importantly, you will not be knocked back from heavy hits. So this one, I think it's a must-take on the heavy bolter. It gives you so much more contested health back. 15% added on to each single shot with this weapon is really noticeable with the fire rate. So I definitely recommend switching to Strategic Stand. I know the 30% health sounds good, but this I think is going to give you like more than the 30% health because you're just really never going to lose health. And then you have Overwhelming Power, which is your Iron Halo is going to give you 10% extra damage when it's up, you and your teammates. And for our team perk, I always say this with the heavy guys, the team perks for the heavy are top tier. Every single one of these are very good perks. So you really just want to adjust it to your team or adjust it to yourself for whatever you need. And when it comes to the heavy bolter, I enjoy to take in the 25% less damage from ranged attacks. But as I said, all 3 of these are very good, guys. And then we have Adamant Will. I really like this one a lot. It's a deactivate one on your Halo, so anytime you deactivate your Halo, you are going to give that 20% less health damage for 10 seconds, and there's a good possibility that you're going to pair it up with this and actually have 45% less health damage, so that is very strong against these enemies that hit harder. And then we have Power Regulator for our Iron Halo, loses energy 20% more slowly. So right now, I'm saying the Iron Halo loses 20% more slowly is the one to go. If you are having trouble, like you feel like you're taking too much damage, then the durability one is also a good choice. And then we're going to have Brute Force here. When Iron Halo is in cooldown, our range damage will increase by 15%. So you're always going to want to kind of go in and out of your Iron Halo, just bring it up and deactivate it, just so you're kind of always staying up on either 10% range for you and your team, or you're keeping your 15% range from having it in cooldown. And then our last one, when it comes to our signature here, offensive capability. These two, I feel like they're very situational to get them to work. And with this right here, it's not really for the enemies around you, it's more for the annoying things that are around you. If you watched my previous videos, this is going to destroy landmines, or not landmines, but vines on the ground. And you activate your shield and you can just walk through all the vines and it'll destroy them. So that is why I like to add this extra damage on to our Iron Halo. But overall, guys, the build is extremely strong. It's another top tier build in the entire game, and really all the heavy has is top tier builds. Besides his heavy bolt rifle, which is kind of like a novelty piece put onto the class. But when it comes to the heavy bolter, the heavy plasma, and the heavy melta, I mean, it's really there's really no contest when it comes to range damage when you're looking at the heavy here. So when it comes to our heavy bolter itself, for me, I am taking it in the accuracy version. Try them all out, guys. Whatever one is going to suit your playstyle best. The 2 I recommend is either accuracy, or if you're having problems with ammo, then you would go with your ammo version there. But the accuracy version, it really helps you lock in and grab a lot of headshots, and definitely at ranged as well. And when we are looking at our perks here on our heavy bolter, this is how I'm speccing mine out. And now for the beginning line here, if you're somebody who kind of gets a lot of dodges with the heavy, then you may want to take these top two and then continue my line as you see it. Because you're going to have this, the cool 15% faster, but the main thing is you will get perfectly cooling after you dodge. So if you're somebody who dodges a lot, I would go with that one. If you're not somebody who's dodging that much and you're more stationary, and I kind of am, I don't dodge that much with the heavy, I more parry, then go with weapon heating, decreases by 10%. It's a pretty big noticeable difference, and just really don't let your weapon overheat. Right when you see it getting close to overheating, kind of back off, and then go back to it in a little bit. And then we're going to grab our headshot damage here, and we are looking for our max ammo as well, and our max damage in our heavy stance. So we're grabbing 30% in our heavy stance, so that is why strategic stand is such an important one. You're grabbing a full 30% of damage, and then on top of that, with strategic stand, you're grabbing 15% more contested health, which this is automatically giving you more contested health because you're doing more damage output anyway, and then you're grabbing no knockback, no knockback. So very, very strong. And then you will have weapon heating decreases by 20% altogether if you go with this build. And as I said, it feels like you can fire for a very, very long time. So yeah, this is definitely the way I like to set mine up. And the only thing I would change is if somebody uses the dodge mechanic a lot, I would go everything from here on the same, but I would take these top two because you will get a lot of weapon cools from dodging with this weapon. And quickly on to our secondary here. Heavy bolter or plasma. Either one of these are going to be very good with this build. I wouldn't really take the Inferno. And honestly, usually when I'm running it, I like to take the heavy plasma or the plasma pistol right here, set up in this fashion. You're going to grab a ton of charge shots from this thing. You're going to start with like 19 charge shots. It does a lot of damage. You can group up some majors, get a lot of easy kills on them at a distance. And then, go back over to your heavy bolter, go back to your heavy bolter and really, finish off everything else that's left. And the heavy bolter just is great against miners, so you really don't need anything else to deal with miners or anything like that on the map.
Stop searching. Double check if you have to.